wasn't looking at the cameras.
Welcome back to Unexpected Arrivals. I will say that we should start streaming because,
Right now I'm ready.
things to do, places to
Oh,
go,
wait.
people to see,
Ooh.
hairs to tuft, books
Games
to
to play.
read, games to play,
Contractual obligations to
obligate, or that.
Obfuscate. Same thing.
All right. So, welcome, Unexpected Arrivals. I guess that's you. You guys are the Unexpected Arrivals. You still don't have a party name. By the last session, I expect a party name.
party names are so last D&D
The
campaign.
Cool Squad.
I like the word that is on Amaris's cup today. I vote for that.
Minimum.
It's
All
probably the
right.
word minimum.
Yep.
Yes.
Minimum seemed like about right for us, actually.
All right.
Minimal effort. That's
We-
us.
We should make sure that we
Math.
have the adult content warning just in,
Mass destruction.
Shouldn't you lead with that every session and then like
Yes.
reiterate it mid-session?
I try to keep this a family-friendly program, but it's not. It's a lot of shit to remember while we're doing this. So
I'll
cut
just
me,
like
cut me
save
some
it.
slack. All right. Well, I had some people in the Discord saying that they were nervous tonight. Why would you be nervous, Holly?
Oh.
You're nervous that there's like overdue book fees that your character doesn't know about, and it's part of your haunting backstory.
I would never steal a book.
Well, no, that's not how overdue. Never mind.
I actually legitimately owe the library money in real life. The book got misplaced while I was moving.
And you
There
just
you go.
you just never paid it. You're skipping town.
we live in a society, Dora.
Dora's very anti-establishment. Screw the library.
I'll pay it before I leave.
Aren't you like
No,
lawful
you won't.
librarian? Isn't that your alignment, IRL?
Actually, yeah, it is.
Okay. Well,
He's maybe in that big stack of books right behind you.
None of these are my books.
Yeah, well, I mean, library books, fine.
it's technically true. They're all library books. There's some like librarian coalition somewhere that's found this stream. They're like, oh my god, we cracked the case! And you're gonna get like raided, Dora. All right.
Laura.
That's how libraries work.
Yeah. I was combining library and Dora into one word because it's bound to happen eventually in the full evolution of the English language.
The Doorberry?
Yes.
That's our new name.
No.
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 I
No.
don't know how I feel about
Please
that.
no.
No, that's no good.
All right. So, without further ado, let us head to the Glittering Barrens. Let's go to the right place. There's a couple other like fake ones there. Glittering Barrens. Land just on the southern side of the Dracora Empire, where our party has left off in their campaign to charge 4 key swords that will gain them entry into the Temple of the Elders, an ancient elemental temple from the Forgotten Elves, the citizens of this continent before all the people that live there now. They are not there anymore. The party has in their possession 3 of these 4 swords. One of them is even charged by an air elemental, and they seek to charge the earth elemental one perhaps in this very session. But
Maybe.
on their way to doing
We can
this,
only hope.
they have uncovered that the mines of the Glittered Barrens have been long since stripped clean, and at the bottom of them sleeps an elemental named Orith, an elder earth elemental whom is deep in slumber as the land has basically just been completely consumed by the greed of the Dracora Empire. And the only bastion for his safety and return to prominence in the area, and perhaps for the area to once again flourish, is a group of druids known as the Greth Reven, who are seeking to perform a radical ritual using arcane energy to basically blur the lines between the material plane and the earth elemental plane, spilling forth energies of elemental chaos into the mine itself, and hopefully awakening Oris. The party hopes to glom onto this process for their own benefit to charge the key sword. However,
It's better than more murder.
orc tribes in the area have fallen prey to a single outsider, an individual who's only known as the Whisperer, commander of dark magic, whom the party faced last session, almost to their total demise. However, they managed to defeat all of his minions, and he made a retreat back to rejoin the orc tribes that are under his thrall, and set out for a race against the party to the Gem Spiral Descent, the place where this ritual is going to take place. The party is currently long resting under the guard of one of the smaller orc tribes whom they managed to befriend, and making haste towards the druids themselves. Will they arrive before the orc tribes? Will the ritual be successful? Will they all survive? Let us begin. You all wake.
Ah!
You hear rumbling sort of in the distance. It is twilight. You can see that orcs are kind of pacing around a little bit nervously. Some of them kind of calling out to each other. You can hear screaming of young orc children. And there's just a general mood of this unsettled tension that permeates through everything. Sun is just beginning to dawn, and you hear one of the orc guards who is stationed just outside of where you made rest call out to you. Skull Splitters are on the move.
It's 10 more minutes.
Hope I am up, ready, and viciously shaking all of your work.
Have we achieved a long rest?
You have indeed. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yay!
At last.
Long rest
Music.
button.
Hitting the long rest button.
How many inspirations does that, or hit dice does that leave me with?
So, as you all sort of stretch out, purge the weariness from your eyes, you look out to the horizon, and you see flashes of light out towards above where the Gem Spiral Descent would be. Arcing up into the sky, various colors, just kind of sporadically out. And you see, after observing for a few minutes, they seem to be coming from different places. Just arcing up. And occasionally they collide, and when they collide in the center, you see this small amount of energy just form into what is a very small sphere out still many miles away. And occasionally 3 of them hit and form a slightly larger sphere. You realize that the Grethreven have begun the ritual. Doesn't look like it's anywhere near its fruition now, but the seeds of the arcane energy that'll break the boundaries between the planes have been planted. I need everyone to make a perception check for me.
9.
21.
7.
23.
13.
All right. 21 and 23. You notice something else catching your eye. As it seems that the orc horde that you're racing to the Gem Spiral Descent is up and now moving, has made a small bit of progress from where it was camped. You do see that there appears to be something else happening from that area. You can see isolated, swirling, shadowy clouds from above it, coming from a small structure that you couldn't see during the night. These shadowy clouds appear to be slowly drifting like tendrils, just kind of flowing through the air, headed in the direction of the gem spiral descent. As a single tendril reaches, you can see a burst of energy come out and sort of grapples with it for a second as it gets pushed back and dissipates. It's another tendril. Snakes out, heading there.
You said it's coming from a structure?
It's coming from a small structure that looked to be out about where the orc encampment was at the night, where they had gone and settled.
And they left it there, like it isn't moving with them.
The structure does not appear to be moving. It's pretty small.
I think we need to go and deal with that.
I mean, if we do that, that does mean that we're not going to be there.
Right, but if we don't, that means that's going to be there.
Is there, I don't suppose there's anything about this magic that, like, suggests anything to me as somebody who is at least a little bit arcanely inclined. Any way to tell the strength of this?
Are you proficient in Arcana?
No. No, I'm not.
Is anyone proficient in Arcana?
No, nobody.
Roswell is.
Yes, I am.
And Akira can be proficient in anything she wants using her channel divinity.
I can.
Note to. So as
minor. I'm not gonna follow.
As Kindra and Tebrin point this out to the group at large, Roswell, you look at this and you start piecing together sort of like what's going on, and you know that in order to create magical effects of large scale, it usually takes more than one source of magical energy. And the providence of the sources themselves matter to what the end effect is. And it seems to you that this shadowy source of magic is trying to join in with the other magic in opening whatever that portal is. What effect that will have on things is unclear to you, but it looks like the magic is not necessarily trying to prevent it, but it's trying to somehow join in with it and taint it or change it in some way.
So that thing is trying to help, but not in a great way with their whole ritual. I'm kind of afraid if we charge energy with tainted stuff, it could be manipulated somehow.
We should go and stop that.
Yes.
Like
And
having
I am of the same opinion.
like having
the only
Kendra perform the ritual.
I'm not tainted by anything. I'm
She's
perfectly-
standing right there.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to get a grasp on the situation.
For somebody
I'm
that loves
sorry.
her books, you love to make wide assumptions.
That's
I'm
how's
not
that
seeing the
wide?
connection between the two of
Hey,
them.
hey!
Okay, I'm focusing.
Kill her,
Let's go.
Roswell. I'll kill her and eat her heart.
Can we see any other movement? Like if I were to look out at the gem spiral descent, do you see like any orc tribes like right there? Are they moving fast like they were towards us? Or
With a 9 perception, no.
yeah.
This
Okay.
is a walk and talk situation, people.
Okay, I'm all for that. Let's go.
We walk in.
The
and we
added
walk.
benefit is if this is an important structure for the orc skull crushers,
But
they will then turn. It may delay their army as they have to go back to deal with us.
Potentially, yes.
Let's go that way.
we would be walking directly in their camp, right?
And
They
we are also
They appear to be moving out, and you're guessing that it's probably going to take you at least an hour to get there to where their camp would be.
and we're moving like parallel to where we want to go. So we're not going out of our way. We're just.
So
going,
you guys are like if you guys are like headed to like here, you're at like 2 points here, and you'd be going like this, and you would, if you go to that structure, you'd be just going up here.
So we get off the road. The sign says gas 4 miles that way.
Yeah.
Right,
You'd be going to the gas station, not on the highway.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it does come down to a question of whether we trust the druids to be able to protect their own ritual.
I mean, she made fire fall out of the sky. I can't even make fire fall out of the sky.
Someday.
I can only make it fall out of my hands.
I'm just saying that for what it's worth, as much as I don't like the idea of leaving these shadows about, they are going to be a lot more physically vulnerable than they are going to be magically vulnerable. From what I understand of this ritual. I believe the way it was described to us was that they would be essentially sitting ducks.
Yeah.
I know this, and it feels like a big diversion, but I don't think we're going to be helped. We're here, we're closer to this, let's deal with this, and then book it there. Maybe we can send some of the orc tribes over to start the defense.
All right.
Your tribes are only escorting us.
Yes, they're not.
They're not really
They go where we go.
They're ready to fight, but they're not going.
Maybe don't say that too loudly.
That's what they said to me.
Ciora sort of stands and then kind of rests her hand on the hilt of the sword on the pommel. If you all go there and they perform the ritual, you're not going to charge your sword.
I just had that thought, Ciora.
I think we need to trust the druids.
Yes, but what is the point if we don't charge the sword? Other than protecting them like we said that we would.
I'm sorry. I've lost your train of argument.
Ciora is saying that she has the sword. We are here to charge the sword. If we're not over there while they're doing the ritual, the sword probably won't be charged. Maybe not.
Okay.
Yes, and also an orc is going to stab every single one of the druids. Well, probably not one orc. It will probably be multiple orcs.
Well, maybe one of us should go with the sword then. I could go invisible and go over there.
You mean to the ritual?
Yes, with where the sword needs to be.
I don't like that idea.
What about me?
I don't like that idea, period, full stop. It's not about who's doing it.
Okay. Fair enough.
I think that at this point, sending one person off on their own is a fucking terrible idea.
This is a 12-hour ritual?
Let's just go to this camp right now, and whatever happens, happens. Let's go. Good job, team.
Is it an hour ritual or a 12-hour ritual?
We have no idea.
It looks like they're already part of the way into it.
Hold on a second. I know what she said. She said there was a time limit on this thing.
The longer we talk about it,
that's fine. We'll keep walking.
The further into
not
the
go this way.
We've circled the camp 3 or 4 times now. We have to go in at some point.
There's just like an orc tribe following you in circles.
We need to go towards the druids.
I disagree.
I also disagree.
And the reason I disagree is that regardless of what the druids are trying to accomplish, that is likely poisoning it. So if the druids are successful and this is there, it's going to be poisoned.
Which also means any energy in our sword will be poisoned.
Yes, if it gets through. I mean, looking up, does it still seem like the druid's magic is fending off whatever this thing is?
For the time being, yes. But it also, you do see beams, more of them are starting to kind of coalesce in the center, and occasionally they instead of just like a flash of lightning, they go and they stay there. However, you do see that there's a beam that keeps going off to defend that rather than merging into the center.
Our choices are either to deal with this or run the risk of everything being tainted, which goes against everything that all of you have wanted to do in the first place by not killing this thing that we didn't want to kill.
did we get a sense, like, the kind of energy coming off of, like, the shadow works and whatnot? Is it similar to that worm guy? Like, did I get similar vibes from, and, like, senses from...
Did you roll the vibe? Wait.
I know, like, I guess
You gotta roll the vibe.
Hard to tell.
Okay.
It all felt sort of dark magic-y.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So I'm gonna ask Istis for a favor, because why not? That's my typical.
Have nothing better to do today.
I know it's my typical MO. So I would like to use my divine intervention. And ask for her to protect the druids during the ritual, and for us to get passage in to be able to do the sword if possible.
What are you aiming to roll?
I need to roll an 11 or under. It's gonna
One of these days she'll do it.
You know what? Here's the thing, though. Honestly, if it's all about the rolls you don't take. And I rolled an 88. 8 times what I needed or less. But you know what? I feel better that I asked, because if I didn't ask later on, I would be like, why didn't I ask?
Maybe you got 8 answers. You don't know.
Yeah.
Yes. No. Your future is uncertain.
Okay.
Your future
All right,
is
well,
uncertain.
if we're gonna go, then let's go. I'm just saying that we are running the risk of this, of either us being in a situation where we're going to have to commit a little bit of elemental murder, or where all the druids are dead and it doesn't matter anyway.
I think it's a risk either way, and this is not a win situation.
To be honest with you, I think they would rather be dead than to have corrupted, evil land magic corrupting everything.
And we would be in a situation where we would then charge right back in and kill their elemental.
Yes, but they're dead, so they can't tell us to stop.
No, I don't think
it's a victimless crime. In fact, it's not even a crime. It's just victimless.
Kendra, I love you dearly. That's not how any of that works.
I have a new outlook on life, and I will. Let's just flip a coin, and do one of the two.
Let's not and just stop this ritual from destroying what the druids
sure?
are
I've got a lot of coins.
I think we should go towards the druids. If everybody else is saying no, then we will not go towards the druids. We can make a decision right now.
I'm with you, Tevrin.
2 for the druids.
Clearly, we need to stop the ritual.
Roswell, what do you think?
The smoke either.
1 not for the druids.
It took us a long time to fight them off. If I could say, hey, we can fight them off quicker, then I'd say let's go straight for the druids. But I'm not confident in that. Okay, so it would take us an hour to get to the shed.
And that's about how long the ritual is.
Fuck.
How far are we from the druids, by the way?
An hour. Oh, I don't know.
It says an hour both ways?
It's a little bit more than an hour. It's probably a couple hours to the.
Let me check Google Maps real quick, guys.
All right, we have 2 for the druids, 1 against.
You're at like 3 hours to the druids, more at like a normal pace. You could obviously go faster, but that will invoke other trade-offs in terms of exhaustion and all that. Unless you have magical means by which to travel faster. Or very amped up orc children you can ride on, or any number of other things.
The babies.
This is a
what are you thinking, Russell?
I don't feel great about that shed thing. So
druids?
Well,
or wait, shed or druids?
Shed.
I don't know which. Shed? Okay.
Shadow. We have 2 for the shadow, 2 for the druids.
Kendra pulls out a coin.
Oh shit.
God.
1 is shed, 2 is druids. We're going to the druids.
Fuck yeah.
What do you mean? Fuck yeah. You would have been like, no, we can't do that. We can't do it on a coin flip. Another coin flip is
Yeah, but it's in my favor, so.
All right. Have you made a decision?
Did
No.
I say we have?
It seems like it.
Chaos has decided.
All right. So, you begin to head out.
I need to really just. All right.
What pace are you hoping to travel at?
A canter.
It's a good answer.
Where are our horses? I miss our horses.
I know. Why
birds
didn't
get
we
away?
take them? We just left.
Oh shit! Yeah, we did,
them.
didn't we?
I don't even remember where we left them.
That's D&D horses.
Poor horses.
I'd say at a fast pace, but not overly exerted.
Okay, so a normal pace.
So it's a walking pace or it's a sprinting pace. There's no
I can't
middle
do
ground.
a small fast walk.
You
No,
can. It'll
Okay,
be considered a normal
so
pace.
if we're 3 hours out, how fast would it be if we got there running?
1.5 hours as you go twice the
About.
pace.
Yeah.
Or can we mix
I'm letting
it?
the DM let me know because I don't know. You know.
It'll be about twice as fast. If you go fast, you will likely arrive there before the orc horde.
We will also probably have 1 level of exhaustion.
That's fine. I honestly don't care at this point. The druids are more important to me.
The orcs turn, and the one that you had talked to the previous night and given the embroidery to Roswell comes up. Are we escorting you to the mines, or are you making your leave here?
If you could escort us to the mines, that would be great.
We'll get you as close as is safe.
Okay. Do you have horses? I mean, I didn't see any. I just didn't know if you were hiding them because horses are valuable, and I don't know who would leave them behind.
Horses are valuable. They provide much to eat.
Oh.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair. I'm not gonna judge you. It's fair. It's
Oh,
fair.
they're kiwis. Got it.
So, okay. Okay. So we
Away
are
you go.
off. Okay. I try to shake his hand or fist bump or make an awkward whatever he.
He does one of the.
Oh, hey, yeah, that's great. I gotta do that more often. That's a good one.
He's like just.
I'm just like
Pry the
I'm
hand
examining
free.
it to see how he moved
Alright.
in. That's a cool move.
So off you go at a fair clip, heading out, and you can see that the after about 20-25 minutes, it looks like the orc horde that you're now outpacing is actually starting to instead of moving in a large mass, spread into a wider front, and it looks like parts are starting to break off and head out. None of them look to be headed directly in your direction at this point, as you kind of have skirted in past. I'm going to need the first set of Constitution Athletics checks, please.
My speciality.
Or it's called conletics.
Do we add? Wait.
So
Oh, that's actually better for me.
Constitution is, and then if you have proficiency in athletics, you add your proficiency bonus. So it's
Yeah. Okay.
Constitution plus your proficiency bonus if you
What
have
is my
that.
proficiency bonus?
Plus I get 2 from Jack of all trades and then 1 for Constitution.
I get to.
Oh, plus
I got,
4.
I got a 7.
14.
22.
I'm not sure how to roll this.
So what's your con bonus?
+3. Am I? So I know I'm +7 on this roll.
Oh
I
wait,
just
is
don't-
it a con save? Okay.
No,
There's
it's
nothing I can click to switch it.
no.
No,
I mean,
if,
you
if
can
it's
just
if it's going to be
roll
the
it,
same
yeah.
bonus, just roll regular athletics.
It's not. My strength would be.
You
it
can
would
just
be
roll a
+9
d20.
for strength.
D20
Yeah.
plus 7 or
Plus
whatever.
proficiency, plus
All right,
strength,
fine. Just keep
plus
it.
athletics.
Oh, I did click save.
So
for
it's
that.
nothing to do with Constitution.
What?
I'm
Your,
trying to.
your Constitution modifier, and then your plus your proficiency bonus if you're proficient in it.
I knew I should have waited.
Ivy!
Okay, so it's just con. Okay.
All right.
Fuck.
Incredible.
So
In a strange reversal of.
in the first, and the DC on these will go up.
Too late. Failed.
First one, the DC is 10. So anyone who got below a 10, 10 and above succeed. Anyone who got below a 10, you are halfway to a level of exhaustion. 0.5 levels of exhaustion.
Halfway.
All right.
Represent that.
You continue out for another half an hour. We're making 3 of these checks.
Okay. As we're running, can I quickly run over to Siora? Hey, how are you holding up?
Just, I'm fine.
Okay. Do you feel up to wielding that sword and getting it charged?
It's not safe to use it while you run, Roswell.
I know, Sierra, but like when we get up there, like I've got one. Do you want to be the other person that has it?
It honestly doesn't matter at all to me.
Do you mind if I gave it to someone else?
As long as you give me a weapon.
Sure, I'll give you my mace. It's shiny and new,
Jesus.
as if it's never been used.
Fine, but you have to carry it there.
I'm going to come overhearing this conversation. I'm going to take the key sword from Roswell and I'm going to hand my regular rapier to Siora.
You're taking the key sword from Siora or from me? Because I have one as well.
Oh, from Siora then. I'm just switching those two out because I think she had a rapier. We're switching
She
rapiers.
just sort of
Okay.
unsheathes it and hands it over to you. Takes the other one, slides it in.
Okay. Thank you. I just
Alright.
didn't want you to feel like you were awkward and you had to do something to risk your life like you have the whole time. I'm running.
I feel like we're in the without the greenery, but in the Lord of
Hunger
the Rings
Games?
when they're running.
Yes, you are running. So
I mean,
as you continue, I'd like all of you to make a perception check with disadvantage, please, because you are moving at haste.
Great. So my regular
You'll just
skill,
cancel
my
out for
shield
you,
would
yeah.
cancel. Right.
8.
12.
11.
8.
Oh, good. Nothing.
Great.
So, continuing running, this is the second of 3. I need you to make Constitution athletic checks again. DC is now 12 as the run begins to...
Holy shit.
Oh no.
I roll a 3 and a 1.
Damn it.
14 again.
All right.
9 from me.
Lower than 12 is a failure. If you have 2 failures, you now have 1 level of exhaustion.
I got a 20.
Excellent.
Woohoo!
I pulled through.
All right. Continuing onwards, as you close in, you see that, as you recall, the druids were talking of that they needed 12 druids in total to make the ritual going. All this while, the light show in the sky has continued, and you
Pink Floyd.
you
Yeah.
see, yeah, it's pretty gnarly, dude. You see that 5 beams of energy seem to have coalesced and are now in this kind of swirling torrent of energy that kind of sparks and ebbs and flows, but they're just continuously in there from different sort of radial points out, while other ones still sort of spark and going.
Download that torrent.
Yes. All right. Anything else? Or shall we continue running?
Let's continue running.
All right.
We're running over here.
All right. So let's do the last series of checks. This one is for a level of exhaustion. So this will be one level of exhaustion on top of whatever you already have.
Oh.
So another
okay.
Constitution. Yes.
I'm gonna Tides of Chaos.
Constitution Athletics.
I'm gonna Tides of Chaos this.
I don't think that did it.
DC is
16.
14 on this one.
Ah!
Thank God for Tides of Chaos. Oh my God! I'm gonna fucking. I'm not. It's not even worth it. I just have 2 levels of exhaustion.
Damn it! I missed it by 1.
Somebody should lesser restoration.
All right. So, DC
How
is
selfish to
14.
Actually, it's 14. Wait,
DC is 14.
I'm gonna do 1 Ben Luck for holy shit, easy clap.
Did you make it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got the 1 and 4.
All right.
Where is the exhaustion tracking?
It's right in the center of your character sheet.
It's underneath
Come
hit
on.
if it's enabled. So you go to your cog, take a look at the right, go down to almost the very bottom.
Oh, I see it.
One of the great features on Roll20.net.
Sign up now.
Sign up now, and you too can track how exhausted you are.
All right.
And if you're lucky, they will spotlight you.
Yeah. All right. So.
Stop laughing, it's true.
Arrive very winded, going through, some of you with at least a level of exhaustion. So who has 1 level of exhaustion? Siora has 1 level of exhaustion as well. Everybody else is good?
0.5, what does that happen? What happens
Nothing.
there?
You don't. It was sort of like the first 2 can get you up to 1 and that, so you wouldn't get 3. You'd get...
I have 1 divided by 2
'cause
exhaustion.
it gets harder as you go. So you arrive and you come through sort of the road in up sort of the main road into where it looks like you had left before, into that little sort of mining ghost town there, and the rocky like outcroppings on either side, it looks like it's all been caved in, so that way is impassable currently. You get the sense that was done on purpose to kind of block entry. And you head up on like the plateau going, and the orc tribe kind of comes to a stop around you as you all sort of stop and survey the situation. They kind of turn.
Betrayal, I knew it.
And you look back, and now for the first time that you're not looking around, you see that the orc army that you were racing here doesn't appear to be moving in towards the center. They appear to be moving to surround the area that you're in.
All right. I know nothing about strategy. I was just there in the war to heal people. So what's our next move?
So Casey, it appears that the orcs, out of character but no marriage thinking, have tried to hem in anyone inside the mines. Is that the tactical positioning that I'm viewing?
So you have just arrived there, sort of moving in, and as your groups were moving in, you kind of beelined it to it, and their group just started to spread out and encircle the whole thing. They're not fully around, as they have to kind of go up in the terrain to get to the far side, but you're guessing that they're maybe about a quarter to a half a mile away in their periphery, and their lines are kind of thinning out. Their ranks are not like, there's not hundreds of thousands of them, but there is enough to kind of form a barrier around. What their intent is not clear to you. If you'd like to make some sort of roll to analyze the military intent.
I will vibe using my No.
Seeing Numerius look really thoughtful, I'm gonna touch his shoulder and cast guidance on him.
All right.
He's like deep in thought, right?
And I will give you advantage on a roll. Why don't you make a intelligence check with advantage because you're a battle master.
So not history.
Well, if you'd like to use history, I'll let you do that as well.
You must have missed it. I did ask to roll history.
Okay, yeah.
I
history
shall
is
do
good.
so.
You can...
I still have advantage. That's great. And
you have advantage, yes.
Even better.
And you have guidance.
Dun dun. Well, the 10 turns into a 15, and here's the guidance D4.
All right.
Making it a 17 total on the dice. Well, not on the dice. All the dice plus modifier. 17 total. I'm trying to say 17.
All right, 17. 17. So, thinking back, you recall reading that there are many battles in which there's a central stronghold or something which people are trying to defend, and that's a very common theme. And tactics which involve surrounding a structure usually infer some type of longer-term siege or a stalling technique, basically to just grind the pace of battle to a halt. Whereas if somebody was going to do a head-on assault, they wouldn't spread their forces all the way out.
All right, so they're either delaying for some reason, intending a very lengthy siege, or in my opinion, making sure that they're not an easy target for the sky falling down like you did earlier.
And seeing this,
I'm expositioning right out loud. That's what I think.
So the orcs kind of the head of them comes back up to you as you're sort of extolling the possible strategic implications of what's happened. He says, "We cannot escape in this. I suppose we fight beside you."
Oh,
we welcome the help.
That was a good handshake, wasn't it?
All right, let's go Druidward.
All right, so you sort of climb up the plateaus, and you can head back kind of down in towards the center. As all of this is happening, you see now that where there was one tendril of shadow before, there are now half a dozen just sort of slowly coming out, and then they're kind of getting pushed back. But it appears that whatever shadowy force is growing, and you look out and you can see that there's just this like very slowly turning cloud of just darkness out over sort of where you left from.
Okay. I'm thinking.
All right.
Okay, so as this group is coming in and surrounding, is there still a section that's kind of heavier?
You mean of the orc forces?
Yeah, of the shadowy orc forces.
Yeah, I mean that middle section is a little bit more dense, but they're pretty fanned out. They cover maybe about 150, 200 degrees around. So far.
How wide is the druid circle?
They're on the periphery of the mine itself, and the mine itself is about half a mile in diameter. It's big.
Okay.
All right, so you make your way up, and you do see kind of huddled towards one of these kind of nodes in this ritual. In one of the structures appears to be the remnants of the members of the Grethreven that are not performing the ritual. You do see there's children in there, and they all sort of look up at you knowingly and a little bit warily at the force of about 50 to 100 orc that have also accompanied you here. You don't see any sign of druid leader at the moment.
There's certainly going to be someone who is handling these other people. So whoever appears to have some sort of at least administrative lead. Let's find that person and find out where we should be headed first.
All right. You go through, and one of them does kind of stand up. An elderly gentleman looks over at you.
You there, elderly gentleman.
Tibnik will do fine.
Tibnik, oh wait. This is Tebrid who wants to talk to you.
Tebrid looking absolutely exhausted, just sorry?
This was your idea. We need to come here.
Yes, if you could direct us towards Arabis, that would be lovely.
Arabis is currently participating in the ritual, and he points sort of all the way over towards like the far side, and you can see that that appears to be the point that is doing most of the fending off of the shadowy energy.
Okay, I'm going to beeline that way.
All right, so that is half a mile if you were to go over, so it's like probably closer to 2/3 of a mile.
We went
also,
down
we
up.
should leave some orcs behind if they're willing to guard the children. I mean, because they can put their children there.
Their children can guard the children.
We can collaborate on guarding the children.
That's an excellent idea.
Yes. The orc de facto leader comes over and sort of looks at
you there,
Tibnik.
de facto. Come here.
Ignore him. Yes.
Just making friends.
This is not a good position through which to defend. We cannot cover all of this ground.
Do you have a suggestion? Good.
What about, so we see that, so there's 12 druids that need to do this, and therefore each one would create a point of light, right? What if we went to closer to the people who had not yet created their beam?
I know nothing of druid rituals.
I don't either. I'm just like winging this. I just thought they like made animals and stuff.
Looking around, do I see a place where like it strikes me as being an advantageous place to put the children where the terrain would be in our favor?
You could put them in the mines.
I think the energy might be going directly down to the mine.
You should not put them in the mines.
This was also my thought.
There's got to be like a safe-ish old orc structure, right?
We're completely surrounded by the skull splitters and the shrieking ruin.
Right.
All right. Look, I am going to go help a druid if I can. It would be good if we could keep all the children in one place and put some able-bodied warriors around them, so that if the orcs begin to close in, they are not defenseless and alone.
Deal with it. Let's go.
I go to the druid.
Whatever you think is best. Just do not disturb the ritual. It's taken them quite some time to even make this much progress, and something upsets it could be dire consequences for any of the members involved. It's a lot of energy.
Where?
Not disturb.
And as he says this, you do kind of sort of look up, and you can kind of feel like there's this like static electricity in the air, and all your hairs and your arm stand up a little bit, and you can just feel that this entire site is just like ready to explode in energy. There's just like the air is just dripping with arcane, and Kendra, especially you, it's like almost like palatable how much power there is right now.
I like this.
All right, so heading over to Arabis. It's probably going to
Yes.
take you about 15 minutes or so.
I will walk this distance.
All right. Anyone else doing anything during this?
I would like to walk in that direction, but maybe to someone, not directly to them or to interfere in any sort of way, towards someone that hasn't yet made their beam.
All right. There's a couple going around. There are two that are sort of closest, and as you come up to the first one, it looks to be a fairly young druid. This one probably in their mid-teens. That does not seem having much luck, and they have a scroll kind of on a log in front of them being held down by rocks, and they're just kind of like reading through it and then like trying to cast something. And as the energy kind of sparks out of them, they shoot back a little bit and stumble, and it just sort of like flashes and blows up in their face a little bit, and they continue to keep trying.
I would like to stand by her, not in the circle, and not to disrupt her or draw her attention away, but maybe just to show that it's going to be all right. Like, just my presence maybe will help her out.
Okay. Give me a charisma persuasion roll, just to see how calming your effect is.
Let's see. What is my...
Don't roll a 1, you're going to fall in a circle.
Oh, God. Yeah. It was a 4.
All right.
It wasn't a 1, but it's not very good.
You stand perhaps maybe a little closer than you should, and after another flash of energy, she just sort of like turns over her shoulder and just sort of like gives you this look like, why are you hanging out, like watching me fail over and over again? Doesn't say anything, and then sort of indignantly kind of stamps her foot a little bit and goes on to continue to try to perform the ritual. Tebrin, you continue to make your way around. Where is everybody else going in all of this?
I'm also going to snag Roswell as I'm going.
Oh, hi. I'm snagged. That's me being snagged.
The sound of snagging.
And then when Tebrin grabbed me, I am going to cast Death Ward on him.
I totally heard the words duck ward.
I did too.
Tebrin turns into a duck.
No, it wards you. It protects you from the duck,
Yeah.
which is fine.
You cannot become a duck at any point. Which, I mean, you are near druids, so this.
If you
is,
have bread, you're going to need this spell.
Yeah.
It
All
just
right.
you tend to get up in there, so
I do.
yeah.
I'm not sure whether it's a character flaw or not. Look, I'm going to go try and. I mean, I don't know. The magic I tap into, it isn't like theirs, but it's, I don't know, it's
Evil.
like the sounds you hear when it's very, very quiet, and it's threaded through everything. It's as constant and ever changing as any other part of nature. So I'm hoping that if there's some way for her to tap into that she will be able to, I'll be able to give her a boost to try to keep off whatever these shadow creatures are.
Well, okay. And then, they don't seem to like gods and stuff, so there's that.
Yes.
Why is it always undead, Teb?
We have very bad luck.
All right. So as you cast the spell and continue on talking, you do eventually reach Urabus as she's going, and she's not even currently looking at sort of what's going on behind her in the gem spiral descent. She just looks up, and then you can see like a tendril just comes up, and she just like holds up, and you can tell that each time she's doing it and holding it back, like she's not doing it effortlessly, and she kind of just gets like pulled back, and you can feel her struggling, and she lets out a groan as she sort of extends it back out. You can tell she's kind of dripping with sweat from the exertion of doing this.
Could I get a lesser restoration as well before I leap into whatever I'm going to try to do?
Oh, you think like I have that all stuff prepared and whatnot?
It'd be good if you did, but if then...
Yeah, I do. And I cast lesser restoration on Tebrin.
All right.
And I give Roswell a kiss on the forehead.
So, as we all followed over to Arabis,
I would do this for you.
Akira went somewhere else?
Akira stopped along the way on one of the sort of younger members of the druid clan that seemed to be struggling.
Okay.
All right, and so did the rest of you go all the way over to Erebus, which is kind of on the opposite side of the gem spiral descent from where you started?
I would say we did, unless there's reasons not to. Splitting the party was frowned upon earlier. Let's not do that.
Oh, we're not splitting far.
Oh.
Yeah, half-mile wide-sized circle, not splitting it far.
Well, it's better than
3 hours away.
one more. Yeah, going 3 hours.
All right. So as you guys stand there, just far enough away for Erebus to see you, but not really close enough to interact with you in any way. She's kind of busy. She just like looks out at you, somewhat intensely. It's not a warm, welcoming gaze, but doesn't say anything and just continues.
She does this to you.
I am going to approach as non-threateningly as I can.
Yes, what is it?
Well, to put it frankly and a little bit crudely, I want to let you use me. I know that our magic is very different, but I'm willing to give you however much of it I can.
I'm not sure your magic works like that. Your magic's not based on sort of natural life force.
No, but
were I to use it in that way, it would potentially risk killing you in the process. Person and their magic are not easily separated.
Well, I am pretty good luck, and I'm going to give her a bardic inspiration. I can at least do that much.
Just sort of nods. And you do see a tendril come up, and she, again, this jolt of lightning comes out and sort of smashes it and obliterates it a little bit more easily than previously. And she just sort of looks at you. Every little bit helps. And then, Nemarius, as you're watching this, you do see that in and amongst the tendrils, all of a sudden there's just like this orb of blackness that's sort of like lobbed up. And it slams.
Lobbed up in a catapulty sort of way? Is that what you're saying?
It almost looks like a large boulder that had been catapulted, but it's very obviously like some collection of just sort of like a shadowy energy, and it smashes in to the ground about a third of the way of the circle around, and just sort of, and you see the shadow lift up, then you see two figures come out and immediately start dashing in opposite directions to the nearest two nodes, if you will. Both of them already have their beams going.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, splitting the party looks inevitable, as we now have to deal with shock troops that have been parachuted in. Let's go!
All right.
I'm going to point it the closer one to, the further one to me, because I have the boots, and I'll start speeding off that way.
All right. So
kick your head to the other side.
I mean, I actually am going to do that, but like just to like step out of character for a second, I want to sync all of my bardic inspiration to her and anything else that I can.
All right.
Because like the other thing,
she kind of holds her hand up to. I will have no problem completing my area of the ritual, but at least half of those who attempt to do so are struggling. The faster we can open the portal, the faster hopefully this will be over. It appears we are not alone.
All right. And I'll give her a bit of a nod. I'm getting rid of my bardic inspiration. I've given it all to her, which I know is not technically how that works mechanically, but
that's fine.
And then I'm going to take it towards whichever whichever boy Nemarius is not going for.
All right, so the closer of the two. All right, you both sort of arrive at around the same time to these nodes. Nemarius just road runnering. Kendra, you're going out that way as well.
I was going for the other one that.
So the one
Nemarius
that
is going for as well.
So
the one that Tebrin's going for.
Tebrin and Kendra, and then Nemarius is going out. All right, you see a figure sort of stalking up as two of the more seasoned-looking druids look over their shoulder towards it, but both of their hands are up, sort of holding that energy, sustaining into the beam, and they go, and I need the three of you to roll me some initiative here, as we will see who gets what where. You don't have tokens anywhere, right?
I do.
I can drag a token out.
Yeah, we could.
Okay, yeah. Why don't you just drop them on there? Because we're going to do a little theater of the mind here.
I'm going to put it in Eridor just because of reasons. Oh. Initiative.
Tell me when we can.
But thank God I have an initiative with with advantage. I managed to roll up to a 7.
So
25. Oh.
9.
These.
Yeah, when you approach, let's see who is there. Tebrin and Nemarius, you do notice that these are creatures that you have fought previously.
The big giant ogre ones, or the smaller stabby 7-armed ones?
Neither of which. If you think back, you have actually fought them, except it was at the Isle of Remnants. They were some of the forces that initially greeted you when you were there. Both dressed in kind of muted gray tones, elven, humanoids, wearing sort of more flowing robes that towards the end, instead of being tattered, just basically dissolve into shadow that moves behind them. And they carry a spear that has almost like an obsidian pointed tip on it. And they turn to look towards you as you arrive. Tebrin, you are up first. What would you like to do?
How close am I to them right now?
Within 30 feet.
Okay. And also, I didn't roll to see if this recharges, so I'm gonna roll to see if it recharges. Which it does.
All right.
And then, all right, so there's the two of them, and how close are they to the druids right now?
About 30 feet.
Okay.
So you're kind of in a triangle. And you can tell that their intent is, they notice you, but their intent is on the druids.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just checking the text on the spell. Okay,
Where is everybody else's tokens? Jesus.
Library. At the library.
Right. 1, 2. Right there. I'm just separating them out so that I can sort of keep track better.
okay.
Right, what you doing?